Welcome to Fireside Chats with Luke and Zach.
A weekly podcast where we cover the latest business, technology, and vehicle news.
All right. Welcome.
Welcome, Luke.
Glad you can make it.
I moved some things around. Got it on my schedule today, so.
Appreciate you penciling
Oh, man. Yeah, no problem. I love hanging out with you.
Same, man. Same. Look forward to this. All right, so JP Morgan pulled a pro gamer move this week and deleted 47 million emails.
Really?
Yeah. Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't.
So, the SEC requires that banks retain records for 3 years. And this happened in 2019. And they deleted 47 million emails from January 1st, 2018 to April 23rd, 2018. So within that 3-year window, because they have deleted these emails, JP Morgan has been unable to comply with 12 civil security-related subpoenas or document requests because the emails just don't exist anymore. So, quite a big oopsie.
Not a smart move. Are they saying this was an accident?
They are saying that they're saying that they sought the help of an outside firm to delete emails.
To delete emails?
Which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And they were trying to delete emails from the 1970s and 1980s. And that outside firm accidentally deleted like year and a half old emails.
Oh, come on.
from a very random time period.
Just to delete emails? you hire an outside firm and they somehow get the timeline wrong? This sounds like a Hillary deal, man.
Sounds like they hired a scapegoat is what they hired.
Were they trying to get rid of their Epstein evidence?
So it's okay because JP Morgan has said that they take their record keeping obligations very seriously.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Right.
They acknowledge that.
Yeah.
That they take it seriously.
Well, that's
and how important that is. So as a result, the largest U.S. bank was fined $4 million, which, depending on what they were deleting, probably is a real discount.
Yeah, it probably should have been more like 400 million, but
it just costs doing business, you know. So that's interesting, right? Like, definitely, it seems like it's not something that could happen by accident.
No, it seems pretty sus to me.
Yeah, that is, but everyone has a bad day.
They ought to sue that the firm they hired. I mean, that was their one and only job, right? Is to delete emails from this time period.
Why would they sue the company they paid to be a scapegoat?
Well, to make it look more legit, I guess.
That's fair.
But you're right. Yeah, it's.
I feel like it's dangerous talking about JP Morgan on a public podcast.
My credit card's gonna get canceled.
It would be debanked.
Dude, right? Gonna get swifted.
JP Morgan.
All right, well, I'm going to start with a Apple News update today.
Okay.
So everyone knows we have the new iPhone coming out in the fall, iPhone 15. There's also going to be the new Apple Watch Series 9 and Apple Watch Ultra coming out. The MacBook Pro is getting some more screen options, so it's going to now ship in 13, 14, and 16-inch variants.
Okay.
I assume they'll probably just get rid of that old 13 that no one should buy.
Yeah, the one that's shocking that they're still selling it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, with the touch bar.
Mm-hmm.
And those are going to come with the new M3 chipsets. So
I feel like the Apple Watch is probably due for somewhat of a refresh. They've been kind of keeping the same style for years now.
I agree. It's getting a little dated.
And then the Ultra, I'd be curious to see the numbers on the Ultra. I bet they've done well on it.
I bet they have. I mean,
see a lot of them
They are
around.
not cheap.
No. What is
Seven.
it?
Well, it's
some?
$7.99 compared to $3.99 for the regular one. So that's a huge jump. I mean, it's over double the price.
Yeah,
it is double the price.
I just feel like it wouldn't fit my wrist well. It'd be too bulky on me.
Yeah.
So I don't even consider it.
Yeah, I don't wear smartwatches, but I've seen a few people in the gym have it. It looks good, but
they look good if you have like a bulky wrist.
Yeah.
But
yeah. We've got pencil wrists, so
look a little silly, I think.
Yeah, wouldn't work too well.
So I'm curious what their new version of the Ultra will be.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the update's going to be on that, but I'm sure it's probably just going to be more software related than hardware since they just came out with it last year, if I had to guess. Maybe some new bands. There's also a 24-inch iMac set to come out late 2023 or early 2024. And
that's...
I was just going to say, yeah, the iMac, the current one right now, I'm not a huge fan of the look of it. I think the chin and stuff looks kind of silly.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
It's unbranded, which is interesting.
It is also unbranded on the front, yeah.
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 It just looks like you just have a big block of just color, whatever color you bought it in. So it just looks a little weird.
Yeah. Yeah, the big chin looks weird. They need to... I would rather it be less thin and not have a chin, you know what I mean?
A more even chin, like around the...
Yeah, something like that.
Chin,
Or just do all screen without having bezel, but make it thicker.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because I mean, it's a desktop, so like, why does it need to be as thin as an iPad?
Right.
It's
really
pointless.
Yeah.
It's basically an iPad on a stand. Is what it looks like. They're also going to be coming out with the iMac Pro, which has been, out of the lineup for the past few years, and that's going to sport supposedly a 30-inch display, which would be the biggest ever in an all-in-one from Apple.
That'd be cool. Especially if they sell it in like matte black or something.
I bet it's gonna be. I have a feeling it's gonna be.
That would be sick.
Because they usually do a darker theme with the Pro items.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if they made it matte black, that'd be really sick. Kind of like the Midnight on the on that laptop.
Yeah, and they don't. I mean,
that'd be cool.
I had heard that attracted a lot of fingerprints, the Midnight, but it doesn't matter on a desktop.
Exactly.
Because you're not touching it all the time, so
that's right.
It would work.
I'd be very tempted to get one of those.
Yeah, that'd be. I mean, 30 inches. That's a small TV.
It's not gonna be cheap though.
No,
but yeah.
No, it will not be cheap, especially if it's the Pro.
Yeah. It's gonna be
shit.
It's gonna be an item. Sticking on the Apple stuff, Apple's also hit a $3 trillion valuation this week.
I saw that.
Yeah, their stock got up to I think it was $191.
That's I mean, hey, I think they've been killing it the last few years with their product releases.
Yeah, they've never really slowed down. I mean, they've always been pumping it out. I mean, there's slow years, here and there, but it always comes back around.
I mean, their laptops are just so good now. There was like, in the Touch Bar era, there was a little bit of a lull,
Yeah, the Touch Bar wasn't super popular.
They're so good now.
And in combination with the keyboards, which were horrible.
Yeah.
I never had one of those, luckily. Did not want one.
I had one for work, and it was okay. But I never used the Touch Bar.
See, my sister has one, and I don't know. I think this is more her problem than the computer. Because I think she spilled orange juice in it or something.
Wow.
But all the keys on the right side of the keyboard,
oh, they stick.
They stick bad.
Shocker. Wow, Apple, how could you?
So yeah, Apple, you need to fix that bad. It's that was a lot of big issues.
Next thing you're gonna tell me she raised a honeybee colony in there. And it's sticky. It's just an absolute travesty to try and use it. Get stung all the time.
Oh!
Oh, fuck.
Just honey dripping everywhere. Oh.
None of the ports work.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love bees. I love honey, but not my laptop keyboard.
Yeah.
They can stay in other places, but
They did have a cool. I don't know what it was, an app or. What? Sorry, I just can't stop picturing that. They did have a cool application.
Yeah.
For the touch bar, where you could have a little touch bar pet.
Oh really?
This is literally the only thing I ever used it for.
That's how useful
You
touch
could
bar
pick
was.
a pet and it would like trot across your touch bar while you worked, and you could like feed it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That is so
It's like
distracting.
a Tamagotchi style,
I can imagine.
and you could like pick the pick if it was like a cat or a cow or. It was a fun use case for something that people never used.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, it for a time it didn't have a physical escape key, right?
That's right. Yeah, it didn't have a physical escape key.
Yeah, that's
and,
a shit show.
And one of the biggest complaints was, I think it was just the volume and the brightness of the screen, because they didn't have physical buttons for that, and that's something that I at least adjust all the time. And yeah, for you to have to like hit like, 2 buttons to get to the slider is like
Yeah. Well, I mean, I
not ideal.
was always working in Excel and Google Sheets when I was using it.
Yeah.
And like a lot of time, like one of the main things you do in those programs is you like lock your cell references, like the dollar signs.
Right.
And the hotkey for that is like Command plus F4 for when you do it.
Ah,
Or it's
yes.
like Command Shift. I could do it 100 times, but it's hard to remember the exact keys
Right.
when I'm saying it. But anyway, you definitely need to press one of the function keys, and having it be a non-physical button was like, it was just a little bit annoying. Like,
Yeah.
would have much preferred just a physical button there.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of funny how sometimes they like push the envelope too far and then they have to reel it back in.
So Apollo, the Reddit app,
Right.
keep this short because I feel like we're always talking about it. It's officially dead.
Hmm.
And I didn't even realize it was dead. I went on it last night because Apollo is shutting down due to the API changes that Reddit's making it very expensive for third-party apps to use their data.
Right.
And I knew mentally that on the 30th of June they were going to shut off access to the API, but I guess they did a few hours early. So I went on last night, like, just to brainlessly scroll through the front page of Reddit, and
As
it, like,
you do.
was not loading.
Hmm.
It was like I was in Apollo. It was just,
Right.
like, spinning on me. And I was like, oh, what day is it? It's like, oh, shit, it's gone. It's gone.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It really hits
so I haven't
home.
installed it, but
Wow.
I don't have any intent to, not because of, like, no, this isn't, like, a protest or anything, but, like, I think I was spending too much time on Reddit, so I have no intention of, like, even getting the Reddit mobile app. I'm just not going to have a Reddit app on my phone anymore.
Yeah.
And if I ever go on it, it'll be on my laptop, or I'll use the desktop version.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Because their app is pretty bad to use.
Yeah. So as far as all the Reddit blackout stuff goes, that's pretty much washed over now. I haven't kept up with the subreddits.
It's gotten so just like, I mean, I think I said this before, but it's gotten so pathetic. Like, basically as soon as a lot of the mods were threatened that they were going to get booted, they just like walked it back. So it was like, I mean, no balls, right? Like,
They didn't want to lose their non-paying jobs.
yeah, exactly. They couldn't say it better. But yeah, it's basically blown over. There was like 2 subreddits that for some reason they were like exclusively posting pictures of John Oliver, like the talk host guy,
Yes.
as their protest.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're still using Reddit to put like, it was so
Yeah, it
dumb
doesn't
to
really
me.
make any sense.
The only thing I enjoyed was whenever they would post something, going and sorting by controversial, and just like reading the fight in the comments between the people that for some reason cared and the people that were just so over their, video subreddit posting random bullshit that is just completely, yeah. So it's pretty much over at this point. Reddit won at the end of the day.
Yeah, as we knew they would.
Yeah, that's not
things like this always blow over. So, Luke, how many Russian assets do you have?
Russian assets?
Russian assets. How many assets?
None.
Do you have any assets in Russia?
No, I can happily say I have 0 Russian assets.
Okay. Well, I can say the same, thankfully. And for everyone listening, I would say get your junk out of Russian assets. Because
just now?
Well, apparently people still have Russian companies, like stock in Russian companies and real estate and different things. I don't know who, but if you're listening, you might be in some trouble.
In case you haven't been watching the news for the past year and a half.
Yeah, or ever, So Deutsche Bank, the German bank, has noticed that their depository receipts, which are basically, if you want to invest in in a company in another country, you have a depository receipt which is owned by a bank in your country, and then they have underlying stock in that foreign country, so you're able to own it.
Okay.
Anyway, the depository receipts at Deutsche Bank were not reconciling with the shares that were supposed to be backing them up. And they're saying that the cause of this is that that Russia was allowing people to trade their depository receipts for local shares in the company, but they wouldn't let Deutsche Bank oversee it. And now with the trading that was going on, they're short of shares to back their depository receipts. Anyway, long story short, if you're in Germany or in Europe somewhere, and you own one of these, it was like 4 Russian companies in different industries, basically your stock, your equity may not be worth what it actually shows it's worth, because there's no shares to back that up.
So you're telling me that a Russian-backed asset, a Russian company,
yes,
might not have been operating on the up and up?
That's exactly right.
Oh, man.
And there may have been some Russian government involvement in this as well. Well, the Russian central bank, which,
I mean,
So yeah, go figure.
Didn't they halt their stock market, like... They halted their stock market, like, right when everything was kicking off.
I think, yeah.
Was it ever reopened?
I have no... I guess so.
Okay.
I guess so.
I can't imagine anything is doing very well.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely doing some things on their end to keep it afloat, and they did the same thing with their currency, the ruble. They it crashed a little bit at the beginning, but it really didn't crash all the way, which is weird. So they were doing some things behind the scene, I'm sure, because there's no way it would have just tanked completely.
Right. Because isn't there like 1 billion embargoes and things in place at the moment? I
don't think any of that's let up.
They're basically
the U.S. embargoes and European, and I mean basically everyone.
I mean, they're basically 100% self-sufficient at this point.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's like a circular
Other than
economy.
some support that they're getting from China and North Korea and maybe Iran. Mm-hmm. Other than those countries, yeah, it's pretty much self-sufficient. So, yeah, that's the news there. No surprise, but I'm like, who owns these depository receipts in Europe in these Russian companies? How did you not sell out already? It's me.
Dmitry, there is incredible investment opportunity. You will not believe. You will not believe. We're going to be...
Very cheap.
We are going to need to be making the amount of wheat yields that we need this year.
Wheat yields?
Wheat yields! So significant. Yes.
Well, yeah, they used to grow a lot of wheat in Ukraine, but I don't think Ukraine's be sending any of that to Russia, so they better hop on the wheat fields. Start plowing.
I mean, they have a lot of land.
They do have a lot of land. A lot of land,
So.
and a lot of desert, too. Frozen desert.
I mean, I imagine they have the whole spectrum of
Climates.
in pretty damn close. Nothing too close to the equator, but
I don't know if they have anything like tropical, but
no.
maybe other than tropical, yeah.
All the shitty climates.
Cold, rainy,
Cold,
snowy.
Cold, colder.
Yeah, basically. Like you got like from Mongolia up to the north, like the North Pole. So whatever those climates are.
Yeah. You don't talk about Russian winter for no reason.
Old Russian climates. Okay, so you know how pickleball's pickleball's exploded in popularity, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, apparently it's going to cost Americans nearly $400 million this year because old people are now injuring themselves playing pickleball. Your face.
Okay.
Okay, it's going to cost Americans nearly $400 million this year because of injuries and elected procedures for people to continue playing the sport because I guess they want to play it better.
How is
they want to stay like on top of it, right? So medical costs have increased this year by a lot due to pickleball mainly.
How is that different than like tennis medical costs?
Well,
why is pickleball so driving it so significantly?
Okay, because this is happening mostly to an age group of 60 plus, and a third of pickleball players are 60 plus, and usually people 60 plus, this majority of them are not playing tennis.
Okay, they're more able to play pickleball than tennis?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, pickleball is a much more. It's an easier sport on your body.
Run as far.
You don't have to run nearly as far. You don't have to hit it as hard. It's literally like ping pong mixed with tennis, essentially. I mean, you're playing with a wiffle ball, so.
Oh, okay. I never knew. It makes sense the ball would be different because it's literally called pickleball. I'm sure that's the pickleball.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah, when you're also playing with like big, essentially like rectangular ping pong paddles instead of tennis rackets.
Yeah.
So.
It makes a satisfying sound when people hit it.
Yeah.
I've noticed that more so than tennis.
Yeah, I think it's because the rackets, they're kind of like, they have like these two plastic pieces, so it kind of gives it this clack.
So people are having hip replacements and things like this?
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, or hip replacements, and a lot of ER visits from sprained ankles and things like that.
Interesting. Huh.
So.
That's I mean, hey, if it is making a population of people that were previously less athletic more athletic, then that's
yeah, I mean
good,
that's
right?
the thing. I mean, it's great for these people's mental health and physical health, other than some of the injuries, but it's still good that they're getting exercise and getting out there playing it. I mean, it really is huge. Like all the like senior care facilities have it, and then of course the villages and Florida is huge on it, and pretty much every club now that has tennis courts and even like public parks and stuff are converting tennis courts to pickleball, or they're at least drawing the pickleball lines on the tennis court, and you can play either or.
Senior care facilities have it? They can play that?
Well, retirement places, maybe not assisted. Well, yeah, I don't know. Not, yeah, you know what I mean.
No wonder there's going to be $400 million in medical bills.
Yeah.
Or whatever the number was that you stated.
That's correct. Almost. I think it's $370 million is an estimate by UBS.
That's interesting. And that's above and beyond what we would have typically seen from that group?
That's right.
Wow. So it is like very much attributed to pickleball. I don't want to get
get this wrong. But
We'll just say yes.
I know a certain portion. The biggest portion of the cost going up is pickleball. Is it the whole 400 million just from pickleball, or is that the whole number that it went up? I don't know.
No, it's fine. We're gonna take a hard stance that it's gonna cost 400 million, and
pickleball is
bad for the economy. That's the line that we're gonna put.
It's good for the medical personnel.
That's true. That's true.
Bad for insurance.
All right, so I'm gonna pivot back around to the AI.
Oh boy.
It's all good. It's all good. We're gonna get through this.
Yes.
Easy peasy.
Okay.
Okay, so everyone's probably gotten a phone call from telemarketers.
Yeah. I'm not. Just speed read it.
I have a lot of quotes in here. So this guy, basically, he made a prompt for a normal telemarketer call, in which someone will call you. I never answer these things.
I don't know what it is.
I'm just gonna keep going. It's a good topic.
I really want to know.
So what this guy did is he made a basic script that says it starts with "Hello, talk to me."
Yeah,
that's what it says. So that the idea is it gets it away from the robot that's initially calling, and it's getting you on the phone with like a person.
Okay.
Which is normally someone in an overseas call center, right? And the entire purpose of this program is to waste their time, as much of their time as possible.
Oh, okay.
So that they're making less phone calls as a whole. The phone call that they are on is not actually getting them anyone's information or anything like that, right?
Right.
It's basically just burning their day when they otherwise would be calling 100 different elderly people and scamming them for their social security number, banking information, gift cards, things like that.
Yeah. Doing the good work.
So, and what he did is he intentionally made the AI so it has a voice. Right. And he worked with an elderly Vermont dairy farmer to clone his voice for using this. So it sounds like a really elderly, salt of the earth old man when he answers. And so he starts with "Hello, talk to me," and then the person might say, "Hey, I'm calling from Bank of America. We need to talk to you about your overdue credit card, balance," or something like that.
Yeah.
And it will. The whole point is to try to talk the person into a loop, right? So it'll say something like, "I'm having trouble with my television remote. Can you help me figure out how to change the channel to my favorite show?" Something like that. And then, the telemarketer might say, "How much do you think you owe on your credit cards collectively?" And it will respond, "Oh, one of my credit cards has a picture of a kitten on it with a lovely beach scene. Do you like kittens or beaches?" Also, it'll often introduce long pauses. So it'll say "Oh, let me go grab that credit card. It's in the other room."
Oh, that's hilarious.
And it will just keep him on hold for
I like that.
7 minutes.
I like that.
Until he comes back. And then when he comes back, he forgot to even grab the credit card.
I like that.
So I think it's a pretty good use of AI. The FCC says that telephone, spam telephone calls are far and away the largest category of consumer complaints that they get. And
imagine.
With the average American getting 14 unwanted calls per month. It's kind of crazy.
I think it's more than that.
That's the average.
My grandpa gets 5 a day.
Yeah, well, does he pick them up?
Yes, every single one of them.
I make a point to not pick them up because I feel like if you do, you get added to active caller list.
I just try to add everyone I can to my contacts that I know, and if I get a call from an unknown number, I basically just let it go to voicemail, and if it's a real person, they'll leave me a voicemail.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
So. I mean, yeah, if someone really needs something, exactly, they'll leave a voicemail.
Yeah. Or text me.
So this guy has several thousand customers, and they're paying it's $25 per year to use it.
Okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, how does this prevent you from getting sales calls?
It doesn't.
And then when you say that he has users, what does that mean?
It's basically just people that want to. They're so annoyed they just want to
just support the effort.
Yeah, they just want to screw with the
So
telemarketer.
he's just okay. So
it doesn't block them. It actually, if anything, honestly, it might make them worse because you are answering the call, right?
Oh, but it's actually. Oh, I see. So it's actually using their telephone numbers.
Yeah.
Oh.
It basically plugs in and then answers any of the calls that are flagged as spam.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
So if anything, it might make it worse, but apparently thousands of people are pissed off.
So your
now.
phone is just like talking
Just
to
live.
talking to people live.
I guess
and,
so.
Like you can't get another call in.
Well, yeah, you'd have to decline and accept, or
Yeah.
end and accept.
Right. Huh. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So Costco's cracking down on membership sharing, and this is pretty much coming from the self-checkout line that has been more frequently used, I guess, these days.
Okay.
And it kind of reminds me of the Netflix password sharing, which I haven't heard any recent news on lately.
I still haven't gotten it.
I haven't either. And I mean, we're both doing it, and we haven't had an issue, so I don't know. But of course, I
I mean, I don't.
we're
share
not heavy
Netflix,
users.
I don't share a Netflix password. What are you saying? Netflix, please, don't push that update to me.
Yeah, right.
I will stop using you, Netflix.
A lot of people have.
When I get the update, I'm not buying it myself.
A lot of people have stopped using it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to Max. Sorry, please.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. So. Anyway, yeah. I mean, so Costco basically they make all their money off of the memberships. Like that's really where all their profit is off these. I think it's $60 or $65 base memberships. So basically everything they sell at just like right above their cost, or pretty thin margins, and all their profits just from their members. So they have a strong reason to crack down on membership sharing. So
Like when you say membership sharing, is it like
I just give you my Costco card, and then you just go check out. Like it has my picture on it, but
how
honestly,
are they checking?
well, usually, I don't ever catch them doing this. Maybe the picture comes up on their computer, but usually when you check out at not self checkout, just regular checkout, they scan your card, and I guess your picture comes up on the computer to make sure it's that person.
Oh,
but I mean the picture on the card is like a black and white pixelated.
Mine is so bad.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. I don't know
look
how
like a shadow person.
Yeah.
God, I wish I could find it because it's really funny. It's like so.
We should post that at
It's
some
so
point.
bad. Yeah, it's You literally would never be able to know if it was me or not.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's
The
like,
camera they must have used to capture that. It must have been.
it's like I know what they are. They're like these tiny little round webcams, that we used to have like in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
That's what they use.
I mean, I remember those
trash.
producing a better picture than what's on my card.
Maybe they have really cheap processing software or something.
Maybe.
They're talking about possibly going up on their membership prices as well. It's been a while. I think like 7 years or so, and Sam's just up theirs last year. So.
I mean, I'd imagine if you are and I think there are like Costco business stores, but if you're a restaurant and you just need like a bunch of eggs because your shipment didn't come in, like Costco's a pretty good option to.
Oh yeah.
Affordably be able to do that.
A lot of restaurants supply, certain items, certain of their items from there that they don't get shipped in. So yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah, can't go wrong with their those chickens.
The rotisseries.
Yeah, I made a point when I used to live next to a Costco, and I would go beeline to the chickens. They're only there like half the time because everyone bought them.
$5 rotisserie chickens.
Grab them, tunnel vision to the checkout, right? Because what they're betting on is that you're picking and throwing stuff into your cart on the way
absolutely.
out. No,
a few bottles of wine.
They're losing money on me.
But you still had to pay for a $60 membership every year.
Yeah.
So then you got to add that into your chickens.
I might be doing something a little different, but yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're one of these guys.
I'd rather not say. I'd rather not say it out loud.
Oh, I guess this was a warning to you then.
What do they do? Hypothetically. If they catch you, what do they do?
It's not too bad. I've seen it
to my
from
friend.
3 to 5 years in prison.
Okay. They throw you.
Guantanamo.
They shove the rotisserie skewer up your ass. Throw you in there. Run, chicken boy.
The chicken boy.
How do you think they sell the chicken so cheap?
$1.50 hot dogs.
Oh, man. Get the marinara on the pizza isn't marinara either. So United has said that it needs to hire 7,000 aircraft mechanics as there's a looming shortage in the industry.
I've been hearing about that for a while.
Yeah.
Which is weird because you'd think that'd be a pretty good paying job. You know, like it's pretty specialized.
The issue is the age of their workforce. So they said that 40 to 50% of their current airline techs are retirement eligible. Now, not all of those people, like, they admitted that, like, you know, people tend to like the pay and the benefits, so they don't anticipate that that entire population is just going to disappear and retire. But they do anticipate that, you know, there will soon, as they, you know, do retire or, you know, leave the workforce for one way, you know, injury or death or whatever, there will be a shortage of aircraft mechanics, and that the industry as a whole, not just United, will need 45,000 net new technicians by 2027. So that's not very far off.
Wow. Yeah, this is a significant number.
So this kind of goes back to my, you know, I've been saying this a lot with the recent, you know, very rapid developments of AI. I think trade school it's been a good option for people that didn't want to go to college, but I think it's going to be a more appealing option.
Even better, yeah.
Even more so, you know, in the very near future. Because, like, you know, it's just not, it's going to be so hard to replace plumbers and HVAC and aircraft mechanics.
We have such a big shortage of that right now. I mean, it's really hard to find, you know, good people these days in those areas, skilled techs. So, yeah, I think we're gonna have to start pushing that in our high schools to, you know, that's just as good as an option as traditional college. So
yeah, if you're just coming out of high school, and especially if you don't have a very specific career in mind, if you're one of the people that are just kind of going to college to go to college, I would urge you to consider trade school, because in 10 years it might be a much more stable job environment than if you try to do accounting or finance or even computer science.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Micro Works Foundation does a lot of really good stuff.
The Dirty Jobs guy?
In that area. The Dirty Jobs guy.
All right.
Yeah, I love that guy. He's a really smart, common sense dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, love Micro. So yeah, if you want more information, check that out. microworksfoundation.org.
Is that like
or actually it's just
scholarships and
microworks.org.
stuff?
It is, yeah. It's jobs and scholarships. So yeah, it's basically the skilled trades industry. You can find out all about it there.
Yeah, and they said that you know, if they're as a population, we're going to start noticing more canceled flights, more delays, more expensive flights, because, you can only
The
take
planes are
certain
going
ones.
to take a lot longer to get repaired and get work done
Yeah.
on.
Something really interesting as I was reading about this is that it's almost exactly, the way they hire is almost exactly one pilot to one mechanic.
Oh.
So for every, there's almost a perfectly equal number of pilots and mechanics
That makes sense.
they have at any given time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because, usually when you're working on a plane, you got to have, at least probably 3 or 4 mechanics working together. And you'd only have that many planes down at a time, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see. So, did you hear that that everyone in South Korea just turned a year younger?
No.
You didn't hear about that?
I'm trying to think how that would be possible.
So, because the government declared it.
Was there an error on every birth certificate or something?
This is really weird, and I don't know who had this grand idea, but apparently they realized that it wasn't the smartest thing. So when South Koreans are born, or I guess were born previous of last week, they start at age 1.
What?
So when I know when you're born in South Korea, you are 1 year old, which literally does not make any sense, right?
No.
Because obviously you'd start like we do here from 0,
Right.
and tick up. But no, they started from age 1. So everyone there, like if you were, 50, you'd say you were 51. So now they got rid of that, and I don't know why this is even a government rule. Or maybe it's just what they did on their birth certificates.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of documentation that has to be updated if that's the case.
So everyone born up to, I guess they'll just pick a certain day last week, when they changed when they changed the documents, right? Yeah, they're rolling it back a year. So
I'm trying to so what if I imagine everyone gets a driver's license at a certain age. I'm sure there's a lot of grandfathering because of this, but
so let's see if you're
all of a sudden 16-year-old people that were 16. I'm assuming it's the same. All of a sudden can't drive.
I guess they so now it's can 15-year-olds drive now? Because they just rolled it back.
Or that group of 15-year-olds can drive. I guess.
Or do you just change the age? So they used to say let's say here in the U.S. it's 16 to drive, right, on your own. Mm-hmm. So there, maybe it was just 17, and now they're just changing it to 16. So that way nothing changes, right?
Yeah.
If I just turned 17 and now I can drive, then, my age goes back, but also the law goes back.
Imagine being, having your 100th birthday.
Oh, no.
And the government's like, psych, 99. And they're like...
That's so true.
Yeah. But the doctor said I only have 2 weeks. I'm not going to make it to 100.
Okay, now that's just sad.
Just saying. I'm sure that happened to someone.
Yeah.
Someone who was 100
and
and were psyched that they made it to 100 is now 99 and they're not going to make it to 100 again.
Yeah.
On that somber note.
That is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you heard about the Grimace's birthday?
Who's Grimace?
You haven't seen this?
Who's Grimace?
The McDonald's mascot?
Oh, I did see a picture of him and I was like, okay. How old is he?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Wait, who's mascot?
McDonald's.
Isn't that Ronald McDonald?
Well, there's a whole crew of them. So there's Ronald and there's Grimace and the Hamburglar.
Okay.
I think. Anyway.
Sorry, I don't know my McDonald's characters.
Have you seen the basically the best free marketing campaign that's ever happened because of Grimace's birthday?
I have not.
Okay, so for Grimace's birthday, this character, he's this big purple blob. He's very scary looking.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah, he's a very disturbing figure.
Right.
They made a special shake that you can get, which I think is just vanilla ice cream and a berry mix. So it's a purplish looking, basically the same color as the character.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what people have been doing, because this guy's always been like an unsettling character, is they're making like it's all over TikTok and like all of the short platforms right now. They basically go, they get a shake, and they say "Happy birthday, Grimace," and like show the shake, and they're all excited, and they try it, and they're like, "Wow, that's pretty good," and then it cuts to like the most horrifying death scene you've ever seen. So they'll be like, it'll be like it'll be a bright sunny day, blue sky. They'll be like, "Happy birthday, Grimace," and they'll drink the shake. And it'll cut to like an abandoned parking lot with like one light post, and like from the light of the one light post, there'll be just someone like laying on the ground, like having a seizure, and like purple shake will be like coming out of their mouth.
Goodness.
So basically, over in like 3 days, over 1.3 billion views on the hashtag
Wow.
Grimace Shake on TikTok alone. Let alone all of the people that are running out to try to make these, and they're buying the Grimace Shake just to make these, right? It is like the most insane viral marketing campaign I have ever seen.
Yeah, and they probably didn't see that coming.
No, because all of their commercials are so happy and lighthearted.
Yeah.
And like it's like, "We're so happy to celebrate you, Grimace," and they're like bringing him presents, and he's like, "Wow, no way!"
Like interpretation.
And even like this, there's this on Instagram I saw. There's like this elderly, very sweet old woman that cooks just like very wholesome recipes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Today I'm going to show you how to make the Grimace Shake."
Oh, boy.
And she's like blending the ice cream, and she puts in fresh fruit, and she's like, "Wow, happy birthday, Grimace." And she's like the sweetest lady, right?
Yeah.
And she like takes a drink, and it cuts to her like in a bathtub with like purple, like purple shake all over her.
Oh, my goodness.
It is
Wow.
really something.
That is something. Grimace is such a creepy name.
I know, right? Grimace.
That's
is like,
such a creepy name.
to grimace is, to like, ugh.
Yeah, it's like cringe and
Yeah.
pain or fear. Yeah.
Right.
That's a real. Yeah, I don't know why they name him that. It's so weird. Like for kids, right? Like it's literally. I mean, obviously they created it to be a kid's character.
Yeah.
It's like why would you name him Grimace?
I don't know, but
It's weird.
that is, it's and every video I watch is getting darker and darker and darker. I've seen some really dark videos about the Grimace Shake.
Just like cuts to like a cartel scene.
That's how they're starting to get.
Man, that's.
But the blood is always replaced by the purple Grimace Shake.
Oh, so that makes it all okay.
Yeah, I guess so. I saw something else with the Grimace Shake, but probably shouldn't say it.
Oh my. Yeah, probably not. Let's just keep that to ourselves.
Okay. It's out. It's just Google. Never mind.
Okay. All right. So the U.S. is experiencing an M&A drought, meaning mergers and acquisitions. So apparently, these like top law firms are going to Saudi Arabia, where they have these big royal money funds, and they're pretty active right now, right? I mean, you got the PGA merger and a bunch of other. I mean, they're just buying up everyone, like the soccer players from around the world and all these athletes. I mean, they're offering them crazy deals. So yeah, all these U.S. firms. There's just not much happening in the U.S. right now, just because everyone's scared of the economy and everything, as you should be, and interest rates being high. So yeah, they're all over there deal making in Saudi Arabia. Just thought that was kind of interesting. I guess they don't have our level of attorneys over there to do that kind of thing.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like more often than not, the mergers that I've seen have not been a good idea. Like I feel like it's very rare that you like have a very successful merger as of late.
Yeah, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. It's
I mean,
but there's not too many that I can think of right now that are happening. I mean, I know isn't Microsoft trying to buy Activision or something like that, or one of the gaming companies? And then like Europe kind of put a hold on it, and then the U.S. started putting a hold on it.
Yeah. Like
Did I get that right? It's Microsoft and Activision?
I think so, because I think it was basically them buying Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Was the real headline that people would recognize. Like basically Call of Duty would become an Xbox exclusive, I think, and you wouldn't even be able to play it on PlayStation, I think was
the
main thing. But I could be wrong about that.
Yeah. Famous worldwide regulators on board there. Yeah, it's an Activision Blizzard merger.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I've heard about, obviously the PGA is one that you mentioned, but there's also Saudis are buying up a lot of, like, esports gaming teams as well, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess they're pretty cheap in, like, relation to...
Yeah, and they're just trying to get,
professional sports team.
Right. Not that money seems to matter to them, but...
Yeah,
as they've been throwing it around pretty loosely.
I guess it's an effort to diversify away from oil.
I think it's also a big ego thing, right? Like, just not much happens in Saudi Arabia. Plus, they're like, they're not good guys. The majority of them, I mean, the government, they're not good people, as we've seen in the past. So, I think it's kind of a way to try to... I think they want to get on more like Western level, be like respected, have sports, and they think that sports is the way to get to people by having their favorite players and stuff. They're going to forget about all the stuff that Saudi did.
Yeah, there's a well, it's not Saudi, it's Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
But
UAE.
There was a trend going around where it very much felt like it was being pushed by the government, but people would leave their car keys.
Yeah.
You see this? They'd leave their car keys on the top of their car.
I've seen a few of those.
And then leave for like a few hours and come back and like
they'd
still be there.
Bugatti's still there.
To show how like safe it is to live in Dubai or wherever.
Yeah.
But I think isn't the punishment for theft there, like, I literally think you lose your hand in some instances.
I think you're right. Yeah, it is fierce. I mean, I think we need to step up our game here. Maybe not.
Start taking some hands. Taking some ears.
Eye for an eye.
So, do we have your full endorsement of Sharia law?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I think we just need to start enforcing our laws a little bit stronger here, because you can't leave your Kia Forte out without it getting stolen.
No, everyone talks it. I mean, I grew up in Ohio, and even when I was growing up, it was still not uncommon that, especially in the smaller towns, that you would leave your front door unlocked.
Right.
We didn't do it because, I mean, we were a little closer, and it was a little bit later than I think, the 90s. I think it was more the 80s, 70s that people were doing it. But,
right.
My grandparents still did it when I was alive. They wouldn't lock their front door. It's crazy to think about nowadays.
It is crazy,
but,
yeah.
And then, of course, you have, mainly in California, just not prosecuting crimes less than, $1,000 for, stealing and shoplifting.
I mean, that's just pure stupidity.
Which is just,
you're just asking to get...
it's effectively encouraging petty theft.
Yeah.
So it's...
Well, it's petty if one person does it, but then if you have hundreds of thousands of people do it, it's not very petty anymore. And that's why everyone's leaving San Francisco.
Ruins the city, apparently.
Ruins the city, will ruin a state, too. Of course, they're already bankrupt. Yeah, those guys got problems. What do you think about, do you have any news for us on the excuse my pronunciation, the Prigozhin?
So, from what I've heard, I think you're talking about the man who tried to start a coup, head of the Wagner Group.
That'd be correct. And
turned around about halfway to Moscow in order to prevent bloodshed.
Well, yeah, supposedly, the Kremlin obviously threw charges on him, and...
Well, you heard the latest, right, as to why they think?
No. What's the latest on that?
Apparently, either him directly or him and his officers, they got to their families.
Ah.
The Kremlin did.
Ah.
Or, well, Russian government.
Mm.
Which, like...
That seems...
Like, that's a horrible thing to go after someone's family, obviously, but... Are you really surprised that Putin went after someone's family when they're actively trying to... Like, did he not anticipate that?
Yeah, right.
Like, seriously, like, what did you think would happen?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't know how you don't think of that.
I think
especially when your family's in Russia. I assume they were in Russia.
Well, I guess he had a daughter that was living in Dubai. And I don't know if this is directly related. I think the heart of the issue was that maybe he anticipated that for himself, but then like a bunch of his officers, they like got to their families, and then his officers were like, "Hey, we're not going to move forward with this."
Yeah.
Which again, probably should have anticipated that as well, but maybe he wasn't. But from what I understand, someone like took a picture of his daughter like in Dubai and was like, "Careful what you do."
Oh boy.
So,
yeah, that'll put the brakes on a coup.
But I mean, I don't.
The brakes on a coup.
There's no way he lives another year.
No way.
You don't try to overthrow Putin and not get,
No, I mean you write a bad article on him, right? You're
gonna suicide by 2 gunshots to the back of the head.
Yep, that's right.
Or he fell out a window. One of the two.
Yep.
I would not want to be him right now.
Lots of people fall out of windows in Russia for some reason. Doesn't happen anywhere
really
else.
They really need better window security. The building codes, man.
It's definitely the building codes that are the problem.
Or you'll get jabbed with like a plutonium pen while you're walking through the airport. I guess that was Kim Jong-un's relative, but
was it a plutonium pin?
No, it was. I think it was like cream or
Yeah.
something that was rubbed on his face.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, she like smashed a poison pie in his face.
yeah.
France is protesting.
No one protests quite like the French.
Yeah, they're letting them have it right now. 4 days in, no end in sight so far, and I know their prime minister was supposed to be going over to Germany for a long-awaited meeting of the states, but he's putting that off now. So they're causing quite the ruckus.
And why are they? What's the cause of the protest?
And the cause of the protest was that a teenager was driving on the highway and was pulled over, and I don't know any details, but ended up being killed by a police officer. And I have no idea whether it was provoked. I generally err on the side of the police, so I don't know what the guy did, or if I don't know what happened, but
Was he shot?
Yeah, he was shot.
I didn't realize French police even carried guns as like a normal police officer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
I wasn't sure about it either, but this guy apparently had one. So
apparently he did, right?
Yeah.
So it turns out. Otherwise, the protest wouldn't have been happening.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, every video I've seen has just been fire. A lot of fire.
Lots of fire. They're breaking into banks, looting. It's not really a way to solve the issues. I mean, protesting is one thing, but clashing with police and destroying property is.
They did the same thing over what was the other thing recently? The retirement age. I think they raised the retirement age in France.
Mm-hmm.
And the garbage people stopped working, so there was just like so much garbage in the streets.
Oh yeah, I do. I do remember that.
And then the fire came.
That's a scary strike, a garbage strike.
That is a scary. That's an effective strike potentially.
Oh, dude, because the government's gonna solve that quick.
Especially when you're like, tourism is such an important part, especially for like Paris.
Yeah, well, Paris has a kind of a trash problem anyway, don't they?
Yeah, I was there.
Bro, the rat population on the trash strike.
The rats were eating good. The rats were like, "You will not fucking believe this."
like California dreaming over there.
I heard they were worried the bubonic plague would come back because of it.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, I mean I was there. There is a stereotype that Paris is a pretty dirty place, but I was there a few years ago, and I don't think it was any dirtier than any other major or any other major European city that I had seen. But obviously we had the garbage strike happened, and then the fire came again. They brought the fire.
What do you mean they brought the fire?
I just mean they protested, which means fire comes and starts spreading.
I got you. Yeah.
Who's to say how the fire starts? But
right,
it ends up there, and things,
Yeah, and the occasional Molotov.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So then they caught the garbage on fire.
Oh, that's gonna be a smelly.
Yeah,
smelly disaster.
I never heard what really came of that protest, but maybe they just rolled it right into this one.
Was that recent?
I mean, it was a couple months ago.
No.
So, and they were pretty fired up about it.
Didn't.
Yeah, but I mean, the French the French used to guillotine their politicians, right? So the French have been doing this since France came to be.
Yeah.
No one protests like the French.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. They like a good protest.
So, big announcement from NASA this week.
I'm going to Mars.
Bigger than that.
I'm going to Pluto.
Bigger than that.
What?
It's a huge deal.
Really?
Yeah. So NASA announced that they are now effectively recycling 98% of astronaut urine.
Oh, yeah, I did hear. I heard about that.
So it's actually
wonderful
pee and sweat, and they're turning into drinkable water.
Yeah. Well, they've been doing that for a while, right?
Yes, but prior to this week, the most that they had ever done was capture was 94% of it back.
This is an incremental change.
It's a big deal because someone at NASA said basically, right, like the less water that you have to send up,
the lighter.
They literally said this, the more science you can send up.
Oh.
So
okay.
the less
it's
water,
all about weight,
because
right?
water's so heavy.
Right, yeah.
And the less water you can send up, the more equipment, heavy. Machinery, measurement tools you can send up.
Yeah.
And basically what they're doing is they have a more effective way of, when it seems like such little, but I guess it accumulates when astronauts are breathing, and when they're sweating, like in their suits.
Yeah.
There's super dehumidifiers that are able to capture that water, and pull it into
just in the space station, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like if they're out doing a spacewalk or anything,
right.
Just going about their day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess there's also they found a more effective way to recycle the pee. And they said everyone's natural reaction will be gross. That's really gross that they're recycling sweat and pee and then drinking it because they're using it for drinkable water.
Right.
But they said the filtering system that they're using and the amount of with alcohol they talk about triple filtered or triple distilled. The amount of times it's going through the process, they said the water that they're drinking up there that's been filtered from the pee and the sweat is actually purer than the water that we drink from our taps.
Oh, I'm sure. Tap water's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not as bad as it sounds, apparently. And I guess if you're an astronaut, then you're not too grossed out by that idea because you understand it enough that
right.
You're not worried about it. But they said they said it's actually, even though it is incremental from 94 to 98, when you're talking about multiple year journeys to more distant places than we've ever visited, but things they're planning for.
Right.
That actually is a huge deal in terms of the initial amount of water that you have to send. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, because if you're only drinking 2% of what you'd normally be drinking, I mean, that's, because you're recycling 98% of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge,
Right.
huge difference. So.
And it's exponential, right? Because you keep recycling it.
Right.
So that benefit is actually more than that initial 4% benefit. Because you're getting that extra benefit every time you recycle it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, 2%, 2%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's all I've got.
That's all I have too.
All right.
All right. We will.
Episode 3 in the books.
Episode 3. Catch you next week.
Have a good one.